Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Rusty Rides Gravel. Today I am on a local gem ride with Ian. He's agreed to take me out on this lovely sunny day actually.
Yeah, glorious.
He's brought the weather for me as well. Thanks for that. So where are we going today?
Well, today we're doing a loop relatively close to me from sort of Glen Amond area up and over to Strathbran. This is well known sort of gravel territory over at the Griffin Wind Farm, but this is a lesser known range of hills. I don't even know the name of them, which is where I come from my kind of remote and wild kick from Auchterarder. So we started at Bianchi Spout, a very small car park there, so limited parking, but we've ridden along the Harrietfield Road and then climbed up past Logie Amon Shooting Lodge, crossing the Milton Burn before descending towards Little Glen Shee and meeting the Dunkeld Creef Road, where we'll then head along to Amulree, hopefully for a coffee stop, cash only, do a little loop of Loch Fruchi into Glen Quaich, and come back up and over the line of the pylons from Corrie Mucklach, which descends back into the Glen Amond estate, and a nice spin back to the Bianchi Spout. A perfect 55 kilometres. There is actually some fantastic gravel closer to Auchterarder, but a lot of it's a little fiddly and not desperately publicity friendly. There's a lot of farm tracks and farmyards that I didn't feel needed exposure. So here we are, and all the better for it, I think.
We've also got the first shot of the drone coming out today. Had a few goes with it already, varying success of pilot error. But yeah, let's see what it can do.
Yeah.
These places that you bring me to, oh, whew. That didn't look so bad from the start, and then it just kept going.
It was looming nastily in the horizon at all times.
Cool, so we just descended from the top down into the glen.
Rather rapidly.
Rather rapidly. Ian somewhat more rapidly than me. He's far more confident than I am. But that was really good. Really enjoyed that. I'd say that's a good way to go, that way. You've done both ways. Which way's your favourite?
Yeah, it depends on what sort of challenge you want. That's a very feisty climb. Granny gear, spinning out, looking for traction, and the descent is holding on for dear life, so pick your poison really. So and this up here, you can barely see the track, but this is the old Little Glen Shee road that takes you back up and over to Bankfoot effectively, and that's a lovely route, a bit more tarmac heavy than what we've done. And that glen itself it's actually quite rough in the middle, a bit grassy, a bit muddy in places, but another great through route, and we join it just down here. Another excellent option.
Where are we going now then? We just dropped off the hill, now on a road.
Yeah, so we're climbing back into Strathbran, heading towards one of my favourite places, Amulree, site of a beautiful little church, apparently a nice little coffee stop, and the mouth of Glen Quaich, which is a beautiful little glen that really lends itself to a little out and back loop. So that's just straight ahead, and this is one of several routes up and over into Aberfeldy, which as we all know is great gravel territory. So this is like a little crossroads really for a lot of different routes, and one of my favourite spots.
Wow. Another tantalising track.
I know.
Look at that one.
Tantalising in all the wrong ways.
Yeah. Oh, so we're just on a bit of road. Coffee shop was closed.
Got it.
Disaster.
Fourth attempt to shop from finally brought cash, but they were closed this time.
But we're soldiering on anyway, like the heroes that we are. So, can you pronounce this for me?
I'm going to go with Loch Freaky. I've been corrected multiple times. Perthshire Gaelic is different from Highland Gaelic, so I could be wrong. Loch Freaky, and this is Glen Quaich. Renowned for the climb at the other end by road cyclists, the Quaich climb, the lightning strike climb from Kenmore. Terrifying in both directions. And good multiple climbs and link-ups with Aberfeldy and the Birks, as we've been discussing. So it's a great wee area, and we've got well, we can't see it now, the Rob Roy Way would link up with Glen Amond over here if you're a fan of terrifyingly precipitous single track. So that's a nice option for the foolhardy or the brave. Yeah, lovely spot, and we're going to do a wee lap of the loch, up in the tarmac and down in the gravel.
So I've just been treated to another fairly hectic gravel climb, and we are treated with some nice views. And I thought while we were recovering, we'd have a little chat about Ian's bike. So tell us about your bike. Why did you buy it? Why have you gone rim brakes? And what do you like best about it?
Well, I guess what I like best about it is the fact that I didn't merely buy it. This was a conversation with Mr. Rourke of Rourke Cycles fame. It was my opportunity to go fully custom for the first time. So this is an 853 steel frame, and it was, I guess, me putting my money where my mouth was. I was very opinionated about a great many things, including the geometry of bike that I wanted and the features that I wanted on it. And of course, you can't really buy aftermarket rim brake frame sets anymore. My last gravel bike was perhaps one of the last aftermarket frame sets you could buy that would take rim brakes. That was a Kinesis CX1, which is great. And this is just a sort of a refinement of that. I wanted slightly different geometry, a lower bottom bracket, slightly different head angle. I wanted a taller head tube. I spend a lot of time sat at a desk, so I'm not exactly the most flexible. So cyclocross racing frame set geometry was a bit severe for me. And I wanted to see what this magical steel ride was like that everyone talks about in the magazines. So that was a great process. It takes a while, about 6 months I think, between actually committing and the frame being produced. The paint job took a lot of that time to decide upon. I was initially going for a paint job inspired by the Lafroig whiskey bottles. Easily my favourite whiskey, but it was just a bit too refined for my tastes. I'm a bit of a magpie, I wanted something a bit louder. So this is Lotus of Lotus Cars, Lotus Scandal or Lotus Racing Green, pearlescent white, and the titanium bands were supposed to go with a titanium seat post that I never bought in the end. And this is actually a Kinesis carbon fibre cyclocross fork. which obviously you can still purchase, lovely fork, and can still take rim brakes. The only drawback is it can only take 40mm tyres, so I would love to experiment with wider tyres in this frame, but that would require disc brakes, which I'm personally not a fan of because they always squeal when they get wet. And I've just never managed to resolve it. I've tried various pads, rotors, brands of brake, I've bedded them into my fingers bled. It just seems that if you're not heating your brakes up like you would on a mountain bike regularly, they just don't bed in and they squeal when they get wet. And I spend a lot of my winter sort of trying to do cyclocross riding and stuff where your brakes are just cold and wet and they squeal all the time. I just got sick of it. But it's been vindicated as a decision. These are TRP CX 8.4. Lovely colour, titanium fittings, which is a little bonus. They're very powerful, very quiet, very easy to live with. I might need to replace my rims every 18 months or so, which is a drawback, but I like building wheels. I built these ones myself. And you get used to maybe not investing in expensive rims. I used to run Pacenti rims, lovely rims, 75 quid a shot, lightweight, aluminium, looked great. Road, lovely, built well, but it's just a bit gutting having to bin them once you've worn them wafer thin through the mud. Thankfully now I've got this, I've also got a cyclocross bike, so that'll take the brunt of the winter riding, so I could perhaps treat this to some nicer rims for summer rides. After our last descent, I'm nervously eyeing up what appear to be a couple of rock strikes. But you could call that an advantage of having to replace your rims every few months, is you can treat them somewhat more abusively. And the rest of it's very standard spec. 2x group set. We've just discussed the benefits of lower gears. A nice, I don't know if you can still get these, it's an Ultegra RX, it's an Ultegra road mech but with a clutch as opposed to the GRX mechs. Vittoria Terreno dry tyres, which I think are just all the gravel tyre anyone ever needs. I think they're fantastic. This has got a tube in it at the moment because I hit a rock so hard the other week I actually pinch flatted the tyre and I haven't bothered repairing it and it won't seal of its own accord, so I've just stuck a tube back in it, pumped it up a little more. The Cane Creek, I've got a very grumpy SI joint in my right hip at the moment, so anything to isolate it from the bumps. And it's lovely if you turn a blind eye to the extra 300 grams of weight. It's a steel bike, it's never going to be light. It's yeah, it means you can really pin it in the flat sort of fast sections, you can just keep pedaling over the bumps. Why not? Bonus. So that's it. I haven't thought of a name for it yet, it's just the Rourke, because I have no imagination. Bike for life.
Right, so we've just descended on the gravel side of the loch. On the, what side is that, the north side?
Yeah, northeast I would say. Yeah. I think descent was generous as well.
Well, I was led to believe that we would be descending on that side, and there was a lot more ups.
Yeah, it was punchy, shall we say.
Very
it was
punchy.
an average descent on average. We're 100 metres lower than we were at the top.
But it's a lovely bit of gravel, that.
Yes, aye, lovely. Yeah. If you think sort of Flandrian thoughts and just get in the nose of the saddle and pedal hard, it's good fun.
Yeah, nice. So where are we going next?
So a short section of road, past Amulree again and the closed coffee shop again, to Corrie Mucklach, where we'll make our final proper climb of the day, underneath Craig na Hash, I think the hill is called. And then it's a long descent of sorts back to the Harriet Field Road and back to the car. So I think about a quarter to a third of the ride remaining of gravel, and it's nice gravel as well, so looking forward to that.
Good. It's also surprisingly hot.
Very hot.
Yes.
What water levels are running low?
Yeah. Need to find a stream soon. You did better than me. Oh. Ran out of cadence again. Just couldn't keep the wheel spinning. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've both been in the water. I unintentionally went all the way in. I wasn't planning to, but
it was inevitable. I think it had to happen.
So that's it now. I'm drenched, but definitely deserved. What a great little ride. Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. Delighted to have some company. It was an opportunity to share some of the stuff around here. It's great.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, this route is a great introduction to what's available out here. Like
Legs.
Apart from the horseflies and whatever. But yeah, there's so many little routes just darting off up the glens that you can just see. There's like, oh, what's that? What's there? What's there?
Yeah.
So tantalising.
And that was 2 of the 4 different through routes that you can do through these hills. And you can link them together any way you like as well. It's choose your own adventure.
For the 3 recommendations, Rusty's recommendations, we were just chatting about this. We think the first one is the coffee shop. Don't rely on it being open. If it's open, you're in for a treat.
Gutted.
Cash only.
Cash only. I don't even know if you're in for a treat because I've never managed to make it in, but it's a lovely remote coffee stop. It deserves some support.
If you can get to it, well done. It was closed for us. The direction we went, you've done both ways. You reckon this way was...
I think this is the marginally better direction because I'm not a fan of very steep, rubbly descents, but they are fun. And that would have been a very steep, rubbly climb that we did down from the Logie Amund climb. So I think on balance this is the better direction for sure.
And I think tip number 3 would be don't, as you were saying, don't let the brilliant grade of track fool you. The climbs are still punchy and loose.
You can be looking at some glorious double width track and you forget that these Land Rovers have big engines.
Yes, bigger than our engines.
Bigger than our engines. You might be able to drive your car up it if you've got low enough gears, but you still got to pedal up it, so don't be prepared for some climbing. Lots of caffeine gels.
But no, that was a wonderful day out. Thank you so much, and thanks for bringing the weather as well.
Yes, delighted.
So yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. Obviously I'll put the route details in the links below and stuff. Follow me on the various socials. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, everyone.